Hi, everyone. Welcome to our presentation today. Thank you for joining us early. We're just going to get started in a couple of minutes. We'll just wait a little bit for people to start streaming in. We have a little bit of a full house today. So yeah, make yourself comfortable. Maybe get a drink of water, and just kind of prepare yourself and relax to learn a little bit more about McMaster. In the meantime, I'll just talk a little bit about some housekeeping things as well as how to make the most out of your time during this session. If at any point you require any captions for accessibility purposes, there is a Show Captions button that you can access at the bottom of your Zoom window. If you don't see it, just click the button that says More. It has three dots as the icon, and then you should be able to click Show Captions. That's also where you'll be able to access our Q&A panel. So I'll mention this a little bit later on as we get started, but we do have some recruitment staff here in-house with us. And so if at any point you have any questions, feel free to use that Q&A button to ask away. In my background, you can see that we have our beautiful University Hall. If you had a chance to visit our campus at any point, whether it's Fall Preview or May at Mac, this is actually one of my favorite places on campus. Super aesthetically pleasing. And so if you're ever taking any kind of photos as soon as you come onto campus in September, I highly recommend coming to Faculty Hollow and taking a picture with some of the buildings there. All right, I think we have a couple of people in-house already, so I think I'll just get started. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to McMaster University's Next Steps Now to September virtual webinar. This is the third and final installment of our annual spring webinar series where we talk to you about everything there is to know and love about McMaster. If you've been with us since the beginning when we did our Young Alumni panel or you attended our housing and hospitality webinar, welcome back and thank you for joining us once again. If you didn't get a chance to attend those sessions, there's no need to worry because we upload all of those recordings onto our YouTube channel so you can actually access them right now at Mac Admissions. That's also where we will be uploading the recording for this session in the coming weeks. For those of you that aren't able to stay for the entire session, or you just want to revisit some of the information that we'll be covering today. So without further ado, we'll just get started. I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement. McMaster University is located on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and Haudenosaunee Nations and within the lands protected under the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. There is a rich history that existed in the land long before McMaster was ever founded, and so whenever we get the opportunity, we just want to recognize that. My name is James, and I'm here on behalf of the Student Recruitment Office here at McMaster University. Chances are, through this very long and exciting application process, you interacted with either myself or someone on our student recruitment team. And we just want to emphasize that until you step foot on campus in your first day of classes, we are here to continually support you throughout your journey through sessions like this or through email, which I'll include at the end of this slideshow. And so if at any point you have any questions or any worries or anything like that, don't hesitate to reach out to us because we're always happy to help. Over the course of the next hour or so, we'll be kind of talking about all of the important dates, deadlines, and details that you can expect ahead of this next leg in your education journey. For part one of the presentation, we'll start by talking about how to accept your offer. We'll touch on things like housing as well as financial matters, including what fees you can expect and when those will be due. And we'll finish off the section talking about course selection and registration. I'll then hand it off over to my colleague Adam over at the Student Success Center, and he'll be talking to you a little bit more about how you can transition and prepare for your first year, as well as make the most out of your first year experience. Now, some of you may be here with an offer letter in hand, but you're still not quite convinced, and you're still not decided on where you want to attend. So spare me a couple of slides to talk about our wonderful institution. Statistics aren't everything, but they're often indicative of what an institution values. And here at McMaster, we care about your holistic growth, both inside and outside the classroom. Whether it's dedicating tons of resources to be the number one school in Canada for student services, or giving you opportunities, facilities, and just these kind of experiences for you to study and kind of excel to be the top mind in your field. We are the second most research intensive university in Canada. Regardless of what sort of experience you're looking for, if you choose to come to McMaster, you can be confident knowing that you are earning a world-class and globally renowned degree. You can also be confident knowing that you are joining a community that genuinely cares for you. From the moment that you step foot on campus, we want you to know that you are celebrated and you are welcomed, whether it's the entrance awards that will recognize your achievements and your strengths, or the pre-arrival programs and transition programs to make you really feel like Hamilton is your home. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into some of these aspects later on in the presentation, but we want you to know that you belong here. We also want you to know that while you're a student here, you are supported. As I mentioned before, we invest a lot of our resources into our student services because we understand that a lot of the time your performance inside the classroom is dictated by the things that happen outside the classroom. So these are all available to you, included in your full-time tuition at no extra costs. And lastly, long after you're done being a student here at McMaster, we want you to know that you are connected with over 250,000 Marauders across the globe in our alumni network. We care about your success even after you graduate, and that's why we offer professional development and career resources for up to 5 years after graduation. Whether you're a student here or, again, long after graduation, we want you to know that once you're a Marauder, you're always a Marauder. Now, hopefully, I've done a little bit of convincing, and we can talk about how you can accept your offer if you have an offer of admission in hand. If you're an Ontario high school student, you will need to accept your offer of admission through the OUAC website, and the deadline to do so is June 1st, 2026. Now, you can do this at 4 p.m. on June 1st or 11:59 p.m. on June 1st. It's just important that you meet this deadline. As many of you know, McMaster is a very popular school, and we're very humble to kind of accept that. So if you miss this deadline, unfortunately, we can't guarantee that we can reinstate this offer. So just make sure you're thinking about where you imagine yourself in the future. And if it's Mac, then definitely accept that before the deadline. And that's essentially how you'll secure your spot for September into your program. If you are an international fee-paying student, there will be a $2,000 deposit that you will need to pay in order to secure your spot. These $2,000 will go towards your tuition payments later on, so it's not like this is going to waste. This is just something that we need so that you can go ahead and take those next steps, such as applying for your study permit. Now, regardless of where you studied, your offer letter will have things like different deadlines as well as conditions. If you're an Ontario high school applicant, the three common conditions that you will have is that you must complete your OSSD, which means that you just have to graduate from high school. You need to have 6 grade 12 U or M courses, including the prerequisites for whichever program that you apply to. And lastly, there is a minimum final average that you will need to maintain. All of these conditions should be completely fulfilled by June 30th, 2026. And that's it. You don't really need to worry about submitting any transcripts or grades to us because all of that will be automatically submitted on behalf of you by your school, and we'll get those around July. For any non-Ontario high school applicants, and this includes transfer applicants from college and university, there may be some different deadlines and conditions on your offer letter. And so just be sure to read those carefully and make sure you're meeting those by those appropriate deadlines. Some of you may have an offer to an English language development program ahead of your entry into the academic program that you applied to. So it might be something like MELD, which is our 8-month English language development program, spending 8 months to build up those English language skills so that you can then go into the academic program. If your IELTS or if your English language proficiency score was close to the threshold for direct entry, your offer letter may also say that you are eligible for STEP. This is an intensive 7-week program that you will complete this summer. And then come September, you will go directly into the academic program that you applied to. If you have one of these offers in hand and you still want to try for direct entry, you do have until June 15th to submit a successful English language proficiency score in order to get direct entry. Let's now talk a little bit about housing options. Some of you may have a guaranteed spot in one of our on-campus residences, and if so, there are a couple of deadlines that you want to keep in mind, especially for the month of June. So we'll kind of start at the top of this screen. The first deadline to keep in mind is June 1st, 2026 at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At this time, this is a time when your residence application is due, so make sure you are submitting that. And you'll also need to pay the $600 fee. $500 of this fee is the deposit, and $100 is a non-refundable application fee. Shortly after that, on June 5th, 2026 at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you have any medical, dietary disability or religious needs that may necessitate specific accommodations, you will need to make that known on your residence application and kind of fill out those individual sections. The due date for that will be June 5th. After all those applications come in, sometime between early to mid-June, we will send you an email with the lottery dates for your room selection. Essentially, this is a window where you will log in and select the actual room that you will be living in. The lottery dates will be allotted for late June, so just make sure you have the late June kind of blocked off on your calendar, but you'll be getting those dates early to mid-June. It's very important that you log in during this window. If you miss it, it may cause some complications and you may not be able to keep the priority spot that you've been given. So just make sure that you're regularly checking your emails and that you log in during that time. That's pretty much it. The only other thing to consider is that sometime after June, if you change your mind and you decide that you no longer want to live on residence, maybe you found a rental property in Westdale or in Hamilton that you want to live in with friends, that's completely fine. If you tell us by July 22nd, you are eligible for a partial refund of that $500 deposit for any cancellations that happen. Other than that, you just need to sit tight and look forward to the final weekend of August, which will be the residence move-in weekend. For more information on how to apply, you can just go to that housing.mcmaster.ca website that you see at the bottom of your screen. If you did not get a guaranteed spot in one of our residences, but you still want to try for an opportunity to live in one of the 13 different buildings, you can apply for the waitlist. We highly encourage you to apply by the June 1st, 2026 deadline at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So same deadline as previous for the application for those that do have guaranteed residence. However, there is no deposit required unless the guaranteed spot is offered. So you just need to fill out that application. If you apply before June 1st, the waitlist order will be determined by your admission average. The closer you are to that 88% average, which is the current residence guarantee average, the higher you will be on the waitlist. And that waitlist order will be released in early June. Any applications that come in after June 1st will be placed at the bottom of the waitlist, irrespective of what your average is. So just be sure if this is something that you're considering, apply before June 1st. There are also plenty of options to live off of campus, and in fact, approximately 40% of our first-year students do so. There are a couple of different options that you have. So if you live nearby in the area, maybe you live in a neighboring city like Mississauga, Brampton, Oakville, Burlington, even Toronto, we have a GO Bus terminal right on campus, which can take you to most major cities within the greater Toronto area. If you want to live within the city, there are also some additional options that you have. The first being you can explore 10 Bay, which is McMaster's off-campus residence building. Now, first-year students are eligible to sign a lease for the 10 Bay residence, but please do note that once a lease for 10 Bay residence is signed, it does become legally binding, similar to if you were to sign a leasing agreement on any sort of off-campus living. As such, after it's been signed, it can't be canceled or modified. So we do strongly encourage you to review all the details very carefully and ensure that it's the right fit for you before you make that commitment. Some other options that you have, as you know, if you've visited our campus, we are surrounded by a beautiful residential neighborhood called Westdale Village. And so there are tons of different houses, townhouses, and apartments that you can explore either with your friends or alone that you can live in for your first year. Pretty much all of our or many of our upper year students kind of live in the area, so you definitely won't be alone. If you want to live a little bit further out from campus, but still within the city, there's no need to worry about transportation because included in your full-time tuition is an HSR bus pass. Essentially, it's kind of like a Presto card that you can use an unlimited amount of times at no additional cost. We know that for many of you, this is the first time that you'll be moving away from home. So if you want an extra measure of kind of safety and security, you can visit our offcampus.mcmaster.ca website. And there you can find rental properties that McMaster University has personally vetted on behalf of you, and you can kind of choose from there. On that website is also where you can find our McMatch Housemate Connector. Essentially, you create a profile, you answer some questions about yourself, and we'll tell you how compatible you are with other people that have a McMatch profile. You can reach out, see if you're a good match, and if so, you can go house hunting with your future friend. It's sort of like a dating app, but way more wholesome because you'll be meeting kind of future friends that you may live with for the remainder of your undergraduate studies. Let's talk a little bit more about financial matters. Um, if you are awarded any automatic entrance awards on your offer letter, you will have it stated in your offer letter, and kind of the you will be that will be based off of your final admission average as of June 30th, 2026. So we know you're getting close to summer vacation, but we want to encourage you to keep on keeping on just to make sure you can secure that automatic entrance award. If you weren't given an automatic entrance award, you can also secure one based off of that final average in June 30th. The final amount that you will be rewarded will be listed on Mosaic sometime in early to mid-August, and the payments will be released in mid-September. For those of you that don't have entrance awards coming to first year, there's no need to worry because we have things called in-course awards. Now, essentially, these are awards that you can apply to for your upper years. The application process is very similar to what you're familiar with. If you applied for scholarships earlier in the season, it will be done through Award Spring. Many of these will be based on academic performance, and the applications will open early January and typically close in April. The reason why we are bringing this up right now is just so you can jot it down and so you don't forget. In your first year, you're going to meet a lot of new friends and you'll be adjusting to pretty much this new stage in life. And so we know that it's easy to sometimes forget about these deadlines. So just write it down in your calendar, maybe spend a weekend or two dedicated to just applying to these awards because we definitely think it's worth it. If you require any further financial support, you can apply to government fundings programs such as the Ontario Students Assistance Program or OSAP. We recommend that you apply early. It's best to apply by June 30th so that you can have the funding ready for September. You can apply afterwards. It's not a hard deadline, but you definitely want to have that money ready for when the fees are going to be due, which I'll talk about in the next slide. Apart from that, there are other opportunities for you to fund your education, things like the bursary program. So applications for bursaries will open on August 12th. Again, this will be on Award Spring. Bursaries is essentially money that we set aside for our students, and you do not have to pay them back, and it's based on financial needs. So you can apply for those bursaries. You can also apply for the McMaster Work Program. This is for students who demonstrate financial need. It allows you to have work opportunities on campus. So we offer more than 1,000 different jobs across various different roles for you to work either part-time or full-time, depending on what your schedule is like. Even if you are not part of the McMaster Work Program, there are still some jobs available on campus. So definitely keep an eye out to apply to those if that's something that interests you. Lastly, for any international students here, we have that International Student Work Opportunity Program, which works quite similar to the McMaster Work Program, just giving you opportunity to work on campus as well as off-campus opportunities on top of that. As an international student, you are able to work 24 hours per week during the school year, as well as full-time during your 4-month summers. Moving on to fees and payments, I'll actually work backwards from the slide, starting at the very rightmost side. The full payment for your tuition will be due the 25th day of the first month of each term. And so for your fall term, which is from September to December, you'll need to pay tuition by September 25th. And for your winter term, which is typically from January to April, you'll need to pay the tuition for that winter term on January 25th. There is no payment needed until these days, or the soonest day is September 25th. So don't worry about any payments right now. The only things to pay attention to is if you're living in residence, that $600 fee by June 1st, as well as if you're an international student, that $2,000 tuition deposit. Those are the only things that we'll need from you until September 25th. Your exact tuition fees will be populated on your Mosaic student portal sometime in July, so definitely keep an eye out on that so you can kind of expect what sorts of payments you'll have to be ready for come September. And the very last thing I want to point out, it kind of just depends on your different circumstances and situations. Around late June is also when, if you are enrolled in RESP, you are probably asked to get an enrollment verification letter. That letter will be available on your Mosaic student portal as well for you to access in late June. As well, if you are an international fee paying student, but you believe that you are eligible for an international fee exemption, for example, if one of your parents is on a closed work permit, starting in late June, you can apply for that international fee exemption as well. The deadline to do so for that is September 25th, but the earlier the better. These dates are in late June because we require you to enroll into your courses first. Once you're enrolled, then you can get either that enrollment verification letter or apply for that international fee exemption. Speaking of which, I'll finish off this kind of last part one of the presentation, talking a little bit about course selection and registration. Here are some important dates for you to keep in mind. I know a lot of you are wondering when you can start enrolling into your courses. So I encourage you to take a screenshot of this. But again, if you joined a little bit late and you didn't catch me saying it in the beginning, the recording for this session will be posted on our YouTube channel in the coming weeks at Mac Admission. So this recording will be available for you as well. Sometime in mid-June, so in June 12th exactly, your enrollment appointment will be released and you will be sent an email notifying you of so, and you'll also be able to access the My Timetable tool. Now, the enrollment appointment, which is a little bit later in June 24th for first year students, is when you can actually enroll into your courses. However, starting in mid-June, you can access the My Timetable tool, which essentially works kind of like a shopping cart. So you can add all of your courses that you want to enroll into, as well as all of your required courses, see how they fit in how the different sections fit in your schedule, and see what works best for you. When it comes time for your enrollment appointment with the exact date and time, or sorry, exact time being on your Mosaic portal, but the date being June 24th, that's when you kind of just submit your shopping cart and then you're officially enrolled into your courses. Anytime between June and August, you can meet with your academic advisor if you want to learn more about those academic requirements, if you're curious about the different types of courses that you're able to take or that you need to take, or if you're interested in pursuing things like minors, combined degrees, concurrent certificates, just anything to personalize your degree, that's also something you can talk with your academic advisor about. And so if you're interested in doing so, definitely check out that link that you see at the top right of your screen. If you're within a program inside the Faculty of Engineering, all of your required courses will be automatically scheduled for you. So you'll log into My Timetable and they'll already be populated there. However, you still do need to log in so that you can officially, during your enrollment period or appointment, to actually complete the enrollment, as well as choose your elective courses. So still make sure you're logging in, but just so you know, when you log in, you will see some courses already populated. With all of that done, we kind of will move into September, which is your first day of university, but I'll kind of save that for the second part of the presentation. The very last thing, just some logistics to go over that you can expect. So in early June, your McMaster email will be activated, and that's when you can start to regularly check there. You may have noticed a pattern. I keep saying that we're going to email you, we're going to email you. It is very important that you keep regular updates on both your personal email as well as your McMaster email once it's activated in early June, because that is the main way that we will communicate with you. In mid-July, we're going to ask you to verify some personal information on Mosaic, as well as have a deadline to upload your Mac card photo. So make sure you get your favorite photo because that photo will carry with you for the rest of your life. You can pick up your MAC card on the exciting residence move-in weekend at the last week of August. And then, after a little bit of time, will be your first day of classes. However, I will leave that for my colleague Adam over at the Student Success Center to talk to you about. So, passing it on over to you, Adam.
Thanks, James, and thank you everybody for joining us today. Good evening if you're in Ontario or somewhere closer to Eastern Standard Time. But as James mentioned, my name is Adam Menez, and I work in the Student Success Center at McMaster University as the manager of our first year experience team and portfolio. What I'm here to talk about today is a little more about some opportunities we have available to incoming students over the course of the summer that you will hopefully participate in because they'll help you feel more prepared before you arrive for classes in September or even for Welcome Week in late August. So while we dive into that, a couple of quick little just notes. One is that a lot of what I'm talking about today is much more targeted towards students who are planning on attending McMaster or considering attending in September. You're more than welcome to stay if not, but in case you're mindful of your time, that will be the focus of my portion. The other one is I know there's a lot of questions coming up in the Q&A function, so please keep those coming. If you are sending questions asking if we've seen your question, we have certainly seen your question and we are doing our best to get to all of them. So please, we appreciate your patience as we try to get to as many of those as we can. If you're asking really specific personal circumstances related to your question, we might not be able to get to them today, but we will do our best. And if not, share more contact info at the end of this presentation on how you can seek additional support. With all that aside, what is the Student Success Center or the SSC? What we are is we're a central resource on campus for all students at McMaster to access a variety of resources that help you in your success throughout your university journey. And when we say success, I use that as a very broad term because, of course, academic success is a big portion of what you're probably seeking and hoping to achieve while you're at university. That's certainly why you're attending a prestigious institution and you're setting yourself up for future opportunities, whether they're career pathways or graduate school. But success also means a lot of other things, knowing that many incoming undergraduate students are young adults, and there's a lot of other outside the classroom factors that impact your inside the classroom success. We'll talk about what those are in the next slides, but what we do is we support students through your transition to university. So a lot of our programming starts in June and even July more so, and then we support you all the way up until 5 years after you graduate. So even after you've finished at McMaster, you can always come back and we're here to support you with looking at career changes and things along those lines. Within our service, we have a number of different teams available to help you with different types of inquiries and topics. These are the main buckets that are listed on this slide here. Our first is writing and academic skills. Fairly straightforward in terms of what it's describing, but here to help you with those academic skills that you need to succeed at university. If you have any friends or siblings who have been to post-secondary before, you've probably heard that learning at university is a very different pace and experience than it is in high school, and we're here to help you adjust to what that looks like. Writing, on the other hand, is certainly for students in our more arts-based programs, but also for our students in our more science-based programs as well. Writing a lab report is just as important as it is to write an essay. If writing is something you struggle with, come check out these services. Next up, we have careers and employment. So, looking at both career exploration, if you're not sure entirely where you want to go after you graduate, this is what can help you there. And then also the employment side is helping you connect to those jobs. Throughout the year, there will be job fairs, info nights from certain employers, and also some career preparation. So, if you need a hand getting your resume and your cover letter updated or doing some practice interview questions to feel more confident, we can help you with that. We have our International and Exchange Student Experience team, which puts on a lot of programming specifically for international students and exchange students, knowing that their experience at university can be different and have different challenges than a domestic student coming from locally. We also have our experiential learning, leadership, and global experience portfolios. So if you're looking for opportunities to get involved, whether that's locally or globally, this is the team that can help you find some of those opportunities to help certainly expand your resume, expand your experiences, but connect you to different opportunities in the future. We have Max Money Center, which focuses on financial skills. So James has talked a little bit already about aid and awards, and some of the different opportunities you can, or sorry, some of the different services available centrally on campus to help you access bursaries and work opportunities and scholarships. Max Money Center isn't as focused on that, but instead we're focused on the skills that you can use to make your money go where you want it to. So that might look like budgeting. It could look like, the basics of banking and investing, but really helping to make those financial topics more approachable if you're somebody who's not comfortable in that area. We have a spiritual care and learning team with over 13 different, spiritual leaders of various religions and denominations. And then finally, my team with transition, access, retention, and success, which we'll talk more about. So, first year transition, as mentioned, is really focused on helping you as incoming students have a successful transition throughout the course of your first year. And we really map that out by saying your transition starts after you accept your offer of admission. And we know that you're thinking about university over June, July, and August. And we're here to support you through some of that because that's when often you're asking those questions and need it the most. But we also put on programming and other opportunities throughout the entire school year so that you can still access different supports as you need them at different points throughout the cycle. We know that transition is not just a one day and done thing, and everybody transitions with different experiences and at different paces. So we model our work around a just-in-time system that really focuses around what you'll need most and when you need it. For example, if we start talking to you about how to succeed studying for your midterms in July, well, that might be useful and might make you feel more confident. It's probably not as useful if we start teaching you about that when you actually get to midterms instead. So you're not overloaded with information you don't need earlier than you actually need it. So my team does a handful of things, and my contact information or our contact information is at the end of this deck. But what we really focus on is four main orientation and transition programs over the summer. So this is a quick little overview, and we'll talk about a couple of them in more detail. Our first is Mac 101, which is a conference-style virtual program for incoming McMaster students. It's heavily focused on kind of student life and academics and just orienting yourself to what it's like to be at university. So a lot of these questions that are coming up in the Q&A, of course, we'll answer some of them today, but things like asking about, where are the best spots to eat on campus? Where do you go to study? Who the heck is your academic advisor and why should you go visit them? A lot of those common things are what we cover over the course of Mac 101, so I highly recommend you check it out if that's something that would be useful to you. MaxStart, also virtual conference style and similar in some nature, but the difference here is that it's really focused on students with disabilities or high school IEPs. So we'll talk more about this. You don't need an IEP or a registered disability to participate, but it is focused on that lens, knowing that students with disability might have other experiences or accessibility needs at university and how we can support them through that. Mac for You is a 3-day in-person transition and social program for up to 30 students from equity-deserving backgrounds. There's more information that will come out from this program throughout the course of the summer if you're interested in applying. There's no cost for the 3-day in-person program, and it does involve staying in residence on campus, but it is a small cohort-based group. And then finally, Welcome Week, which is probably the program that most people are familiar with as Orientation Week or Frosh Week, as other institutions call it. This is the largest in-person orientation to the McMaster community and encompasses over 120 events during 5 days. And these all happen right before classes start. So we'll talk more about what that looks like. So for Mac 101, excuse me, our first program. This year, Mac 101 is running from Monday, July 13th to Friday, July 17th, 2026. So, as mentioned, this is a virtual program. And I know some people aren't clear about this, but all of these programs are free for incoming first year students. They're one of the many services the Student Success Center offers and something that is paid through your tuition. So, we encourage you to take advantage of it. But it's really focused on the student life and academic success pieces of university. Students and parents can learn of some vital McMaster program strategies and tools that help support the transition to university. But more importantly, it's really about opportunities to meet new people and start to integrate, really just feel more comfortable with university before you actually arrive for other transition programming like Welcome Week, you move into residence, or before your classes begin. These sessions are predominantly virtual. Some years they're in-person offerings like tours, but it's subject to change. And these sessions are all hosted by either my team or other professional staff and content experts across McMaster. Registration is not currently open for Mac 101, but it will be soon. I know folks are asking in the chat, in the Q&A, about when you'll have access to your emails. You will hear at least a few times by email through a central newsletter about when Mac 101 is available and how you can register. So just make sure you keep an eye on your email and you'll get all the information there. So, as a little more detail on what Mac 101 covers, here's an example of a few of the sessions that we cover. Won't read through all of them just in the interest of time and not boring you too much, but we cover a range of topics again around student life and different academic success. A big thing I will highlight here is that there's a good, I'd say 1/3 at least of our sessions are led by upper year students specifically. So for a lot of those same common questions that I mentioned earlier, you can hear directly from the students who are at McMaster, which frankly is sometimes better than hearing from the staff. It feels more relatable. So it's really nice to have that opportunity to learn from them. Some of the tips and tricks they wish they knew in first year, and they can pass them down to you before you get here and begin your university journey. All right. And then the last portion of Mac 101 is our parent session. So if there are any parents or guardians or other supporters of incoming students joining us today, we offer 3 sessions on Saturday, July 18th that are specifically geared towards parents and guardians or supporters. So for those that are interested, again, information about these sessions will come through your student's email. So I recommend checking with them about what that looks like. The 3 sessions that we offer is one that overviews what September to April looks like. So this will give you a sense of really what it is that your student is going to be experiencing over the course of the year, what some of the major milestones are, and consequently where they can access support across McMaster for those experiences. There's a second session on supporting your student, which is a panel from the various directors across student affairs to talk about how their services are intentionally designed to support students. And then the third session is from Residence Life, where they talk about what the residence experience looks like as well. Knowing that many of you may be having your students moving into residence and may also be helping to fund that experience as well. And then finally, some social opportunities. These are built into Mac 101 as a whole, as you might have seen on the past slide. So, moving into Mac Start then, as our next transition program. So Max Start is running this year from Tuesday, August 4th through Friday, August 14th, 2026. It is not running on the weekend. It just feels a little cumbersome to write down like 4 dates on that section. So it's just running during weekdays. And typically what this looks like is, again, virtual sort of conference or session style. Usually there's 1 or 2 sessions a day at different times to hopefully accommodate different students with different availabilities. So the audience for MaxStart is really focused on incoming students with disabilities or high school IEP. But I'd love to emphasize again that you do not need to have registered for academic accommodations. You do need or not need to have had an IEP in high school. You don't need to have a registered disability to join. Instead, this is just really what the audience or the target audience for this programming is. So, you will get a lot of information through MaxStart about how to register for accommodations if that's something you're interested in and haven't explored yet, but it's not necessary to join MaxStart. The structure is, again, a lot focused on online sessions. We also have a resource-focused avenue to learn, which is McMaster's online course module system. So we have a resource course set up that students can access throughout the year and through the summer. And then again, these sessions are happening during August with these sessions focused on actually a handful of things that are on the next slide. So we'll talk about them there. So on this slide, you can see that the content is divided by the live content, which happens in the synchronous sessions, and the more at your own pace content that you'll find in the online modules. So in these live sessions, we're going to talk a lot about, again, academic skills, but really with a focus on what academic skills look like for students with various various disabilities across McMaster. You'll have opportunity to meet with some of the accessibility professionals on campus and hear from them about what some of the processes are that you should be exploring for things like accommodations, but also from student leaders who have, again, their own lived experience with disability, who can talk to you about, of course, the academic portion of McMaster, but also even little things or big things in some case, right? About how to navigate campus with a mobility disability, or how to find a disability community on campus so that you can meet other students with similar experiences. Um, as we go into academic skills, again, some of them really focused on on addressing academic skills challenges from certain disabilities. So, a lot of these come up for students who are neurodiverse, who have autism, ADHD, other learning disabilities of sorts. So, that's where much of the content, but not all of the content, is focused. And then for the asynchronous content on the course, tends to be more resource focused. So we will teach you how to use the course during MaxStart and we'll encourage you to go through it, but there's no pressure to complete it all or even do it at that time. The goal is that it's there as a resource you can access throughout the year that has tailored information for you, so that at any point when you're looking for an answer and maybe don't know where to go, hopefully the course has it for you. All right. And then finally, Welcome Week. So this is the official welcome and orientation for all incoming McMaster students. Welcome Week, or again, other folks might be familiar with similar programs at other institutions, or even from TV or movies, as Orientation Week or Frosh Week. At McMaster, we call it Welcome Week, and really we focus it on, of course, orienting students to McMaster, but really introducing you to McMaster's community of communities, because in a lot of ways, that's what makes McMaster really special. So Welcome Week is 5 days long. This year it is from August 31st to September 4th, 2026. And it's entirely designed around fun but informative events to help ease your transition to university at McMaster. Our goal through Welcome Week is to, of course, connect you with other students, both incoming students in your programs, in your residents, in other communities at McMaster, but also the upper year student leaders who we'll talk more about as we go through these slides. I'll note about the dates specifically because there are usually a couple questions that come up. Residence move-in is typically the weekend before Welcome Week. So this year it would be August 29th and 30th. And then Labor Day is immediately after Welcome Week. So that's Monday, September 7th this year. So Welcome Week really is 1 week of classes where there are no, or sorry, 1 week of classes. Welcome Week is 1 week of programming where there are no classes, there are no other conflicts from the university at that time. So you can focus on just uh, immersing yourself in that transition to McMaster. So for Welcome Week, we have three themes that we try to incorporate as a part of that transition support. The first is the promotion of health and well-being for students. So of course, that's your physical health, but also your mental health and your emotional health, your spiritual health, even your financial health. So thinking about different ways that we can help provide you with skills, resources, access to services that support your well-being at McMaster. The second of which was the academic preparedness, and we've talked about this a fair bit already in this presentation. So same ideas where we want you to feel prepared to be successful in your academics. And then the third is advancement of equity, inclusion, and accessibility on campus. So really helping students of all backgrounds feel welcomed on campus and know how they can navigate the campus community and find their campus community. So Welcome Week is centered around these three themes, and they touch on every single part of Welcome Week in some way. But our goal is that Welcome Week is fun, first and foremost, and then educational second as well. So this doesn't mean you're going to be sitting in lectures necessarily during Welcome Week and learning about these topics. There are some opportunities to do that, but much of it is going to be doing fun activities where you'll get opportunities again to meet other people, connect over some quiet, low-key things like crafts and rock paintings and board games, but also bigger, high-energy things that might be outdoors. Actually, we have some examples on the next slide, so maybe we'll go there. I lied. We don't have examples on that slide. I'm so sorry. So other large scale events, they might be sports or athletics, going on trips in the local community, exploring Hamilton and surrounding areas. But there's lots and lots to do with over 120 events throughout the course of the week. There is quite literally never a dull moment unless you choose you want to take a break and step away, which you're absolutely welcome to. But if you want to participate, there's always something going on. So with that, Welcome Week really is a collaboration at its finest. We have excuse me, groups from all across campus in student affairs, in your faculties, your programs, and your student societies. The McMaster Student Union, which is an equal partner in Welcome Week, and then other student groups or student groups and support services on campus, like the Black Student Success Center, Indigenous Student Services, and more. So all of these groups come together and have a system where they have the ability to coordinate their own programming, but we also coordinate it centrally so that you're having hopefully the smoothest welcoming experience you can, but finding these pockets where you can meet other people based on certain interests or demographics as well. And then finally, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Welcome Week and acknowledge our student leaders or our Welcome Week reps, as we like to call them. For any of the folks in our session today, if you've been to campus for May at Mac or any other open house day, you've probably seen these student leaders in their very colorful outfits or their suits. And these Welcome Week student leaders are really the spirit and the lifeblood of what makes Welcome Week special at McMaster. So there are representatives from all of the major student groups on campus, faculties and programs, different student groups like Black Student Success and Indigenous Student Services, different residences. But the goal is that there are upper years from all of these different pockets so that you find somebody that you can connect with and you feel comfortable going to during Welcome Week and beyond if you have questions or need support. These are student leaders that plan Welcome Week over the course of the summer. So we have over 30 select student leaders who are responsible for planning many of the things that you'll experience over Welcome Week. And they take on these positions because they participated in Welcome Week when they were a student and they had a great time and really want to pay it forward. So they're already hard at work, prepping their 120 plus events and training our 1,300 plus student leaders who you'll see throughout the week to make your transition to university as smooth as it can be. Oh, here's my event slide. It was out of order. So we've talked about some of these already. This is a few examples of some events that you might experience during Welcome Week. But really, the key message here is that there's no shortage of things happening, and we have a variety at all times so that there's something for everybody. You'll get more information about Welcome Week events through our Welcome Week website later in the summer. Again, you'll hear about this by email, so no need to worry about missing out now. And that'll be your main way of figuring out what's happening during Welcome Week and what you want to choose to participate in. And that's more or less it for Welcome Week. I could speak for probably another half an hour about why it's fantastic, but I won't do that today. There's a few excerpts here about some quotes that we get from students every year about why it was really useful and beneficial for them. But hopefully you'll join us and you'll be able to have your own mini testimonial that you can reflect back on after you go through Welcome Week. And that's really it for me. So there's a couple of reminders I think that James will talk through, but the big one I'll mention here for number two on that list is if you have any questions for myself or anybody in my team about Student Success Center, please feel free to email us at studentsuccess@mcmaster.ca. If you have a question you're not sure where to go, we're also a great place to start. We're happy to redirect you to other places on campus. And if you mention that you were in this session and you want to talk with me specifically, feel free to do that and they'll connect you with me if you want to chat more.
Thanks so much, Adam. We really appreciate all of that great information. Yeah, just a couple of reminders on the screen as well as some contact information. If you have any sort of admission related question or if you just don't really know where to go for a specific question and you just need to reach someone, we encourage you to reach out to us our student recruitment team, and that's going to be the email at the very bottom, liaison@mcmaster.ca. And there's just some information about some of our socials available on point number 3. The very last thing that I'll just really quickly mention is to, as point number 1 says, it is very, very important to regularly check your emails because again, that is the main way that we will be communicating with you. Now, that does bring us to the end of our presentation. So thank you all for joining us today. We will actually continue this call until 8 o'clock just to address some of the commonly or frequently asked questions that we're seeing in the chat. If you have any further questions or if your question hasn't been answered, please feel free to stay because we are working away at the chat. And also our colleague Colin will also be addressing some of those questions right now for you.
Awesome. Thank you, James. Can you confirm that you can hear me okay? Perfect. Hi, everybody. My name is Colin. I'm also a recruitment officer, and I work very closely with James on a lot of different projects. There's been a lot of great questions in the chat, and I thought I'd just jump on to answer a few of them as widely as possible. So in terms of academic advising, I've been seeing a lot of themes coming up that with course selection and how the academic advising works. Your course enrollment date will likely open up potentially before you have an academic advising appointment. You can book the academic advising appointment, but it is not a mandatory step to do in order to then enroll in your courses. Something that I always recommend for incoming students is to look at the academic calendar. If you look up the McMaster academic calendar and check out the 2026-2027 link, you're able to actually look at what courses may be related to your first year program. Course enrollment does look a little bit different depending on what you're enrolling in. Engineering 1, you may have some very prescribed blocks in terms of what courses you can take, whereas with other programs such as life sciences, you'll be focusing on enrolling in courses that are related to the degree that you're planning to study. If you're someone that's leaning more towards like biology and chemistry and going into something like physiology, then you'd be leaning more towards those courses. If you're looking at astrophysics, then you're probably going to want to focus on those chemistry and physics courses. Usually the programs will have sort of the recommended courses for you to take in order to pursue the upper year options. And in your first couple of years in your undergraduate program, most of those courses are going to be a little bit more prescribed. Typically, it's in your upper year of your programs where you have the flexibility to take electives, which leads into the second question I've seen come up a couple times about minors. So your minor is able to be taken in other faculties or areas. Your core courses are related to your central program that you're taking, but your elective courses can be taken from many other faculties or areas if you want to specialize and sort of help further specialize your undergraduate education. So you might be a business student that wants to take a minor in sustainability. The way it works is you take courses throughout the 4 years of your undergraduate, and then as long as they're within the subject area of the minor that you're looking to explore, you then apply them to the minor when you graduate. Again, if you look at the academic calendar, we have a list of all of the programs and then also minors available, and it'll also list out all of the required units for you to take in order to achieve that minor when you graduate. There are some specialized minors that you technically apply to from first year to second year, but for the majority of the minors, essentially you just need to take enough of the units in that subject area to apply it to a minor when you graduate. The other piece that's come up in a couple of questions, just for folks reaching out about questions for their own individual application, about your specific situation or your average, we would really encourage you to reach out to us at liaison@mcmaster.ca or through our live chat, just so that we can address those with you one-on-one. Again, this forum, we're happy to answer questions about general applications, but just for the sake of privacy, we're not going to publicly talk about your application in this chat today. But definitely reach out to us. We're more than happy to help with anything that you might need to know. Co-op has come up a couple of different times. There are a number of different work experiences and co-ops that are available in a number of different programs. What I would say in general is that each of our different faculties have different cooperative and education offices that can help support you, that can help with looking at what types of different job opportunities that you might be looking for. They will definitely help you with sourcing those different positions and helping you prep for those applications. You will definitely need to do that interview by yourself, but they will help you with getting towards that step. It works a little bit different for every faculty, but in general, there's lots of supports available to you that you can reach out to that are going to be able to help you secure that kind of position. One other piece that I wanted to mention, there was a couple questions about taking courses over the summer in terms of your average. James mentioned it earlier, but just to help kind of clarify and reinforce, any courses that you're planning to use for your current application would need to be complete by June 30th, just so that we're able to use those to determine your final average. Your final average is what we will use to kind of finalize whatever scholarship opportunities you're eligible for, and also for clearing those conditions that will be in your offer letter that you may have already received. In terms of summer school, if you're taking courses in the summer, they wouldn't be applicable to your application because all of that's going to be finalized by the end of June. So taking those wouldn't change your average once you arrive in the fall. The last piece that I saw a couple questions about was the roommate selections. If you're applying to residence and you have someone else with guaranteed residence that you want to request as a roommate, absolutely, you can certainly do so. Of the two of you, whoever has the earlier roommate selection slot will be the one that's choosing the room for the both of you. So if there's two of you, you've requested each other as roommates, the person with the earlier time slot is choosing for both of you. All right, those were all my preloaded questions, and I'll just kind of jump in here now and try to see if there's any common themes that I can help address. If you're looking for the link to apply to residence, if you look up McMaster Housing, the Future Students page is where you will access the residence application portal. As James mentioned earlier, it's going to be June 1st at 4 p.m., but I wouldn't leave it that late. It's always good to start that process a little bit earlier. So if you have time tonight or maybe tomorrow, definitely start filling that out as soon as possible, regardless of whether or not you have the guaranteed offer to residents. Even if you don't have it guaranteed, it's always good to fill it out just to get yourself on the wait list. Question about do certain residence buildings have the option to choose roommates and others don't? If it's a building with a room where you have another roommate available, then you can request them. If there are some stipulations, like if it's a space where there is another room in it with a bed, then you can request them as a roommate. But the stipulations aren't on specific buildings, it's related to the room type that you're looking at.
One question I'm seeing is about maintaining automatic entrance awards. If you would like to maintain the automatic entrance award that you were given on your offer letter, that will be based off of your final admission average as of June 30th. So you will need to maintain that average if you would like to keep the same entrance award.
Absolutely. Which residence is closest to the BTech program? In general, I like to think that the campus is very navigatable. You can walk across it in about 15 minutes. So regardless of where you're staying, you're always pretty close to where you need to be. And more questions about scholarships. Again, any awards that you've applied for, you would be notified about, and your automatic entrance awards will be based on the final average that we get after June 30th. Is it possible to complete two minors? Generally, just in terms of balancing, your social life, having your courses, most students are typically only going to have one minor. Trying to add additional courses could extend your overall time of study. So if you're looking to complete your undergraduate within 4 years, typically it's just going to be one minor. And it does depend on the program that you're in. In this case, we're talking about life sciences, but it is typically going to be one minor that you're able to achieve. If you're adding co-op, then that again adds to your overall time of study. University is all about opportunities and kind of picking and choosing the ones that you want to look towards. Certainly adding in a minor is a great option. You could also consider different options to study abroad and things like that. So definitely start with one minor. If you're looking to achieve more than that, I would definitely speak to an academic advisor first.
If I can pop in, as I'm catching up on all the Q&A, I see there's a few questions about Mac 101. So to expand more on Mac 101, for each day that Mac 101 is running, typically we have 4 or 5 sessions each day, usually around 45, 50 minutes in length. We try not to start earlier than lunchtime, 12 p.m. around Eastern Standard Time, because we know most people don't want to get up that early, which is totally fair. And typically we end in the early evening around 5 or 6 p.m. We know that not those times won't work for everybody because you might have other commitments over the summer. You might be working, taking classes perhaps, or you might be on vacation that week. All of the Mac 101 sessions are recorded and posted later. They're typically posted a couple of weeks after the program ends. So while we certainly encourage you to attend live if you can, because I think you'll get much more out of the program by being able to chat in real time and make connections with other students, you can access that information later as well if you can't attend any of them for some reason.
Lots of great questions coming in. I'll jump in a couple of these quickly, but so for anybody that is not a current Ontario high school applicant, so if you're applying from a different province and things, you've been uploading your grades yourself. If you need to send in final documentation that is an official final document, then you would need to either provide it by mail, but it would need to go through your school just so that we get that final official documentation. And again, if you have specific questions about your application, I've seen a couple of them coming in. We would really encourage you to email us at liaison@mcmaster.ca or on our live chat just so that we can help you understand your situation specifically. And again, the link to apply for residence, we can probably throw it in the chat, but if you just Google housing, McMaster Housing, and click to the Future Student tab, that is where you'll have immediate access to the residence portal. If you, so question about can I pay for both terms instead of once? Yes, absolutely. You can, as of September 25th, that's when fees are due. You're welcome to apply for first or pay for first and second term all at once. Or if you'd prefer to break it up, you can pay for just the first term. And then if you do so, then you would need to pay for the second term on January 25th. A question about for the move-in weekend, is it your parents helping you move in or other students? So during move-in weekend, there will be lots of McMaster community members that will be there to help you move into the building. It's a very full and exciting weekend, so there'll be lots of people there to help you get yourself settled in and set up in your residence room.
I'll also just
Can,
add on move-in
yeah, yeah.
quickly. So you don't have to do the heavy lifting on move-in, which is great. If you haven't seen McMaster's move-in before, you can probably see some videos on YouTube or something similar about it because it's very fascinating, I think, how organized it is. So we have those 1,300 student volunteers will be helping move all your things. You are typically asked to move your valuables. So anything that might be fragile or valuable, you will keep yourself, but anything else, our students will move in for you. If your parents, you and your parents want to go shopping or go to lunch or do anything else after move-in, you absolutely can. You won't be missing out on Welcome Week programs. Those typically start in the evening at the earliest, so you have time to spend with your family before they depart, if that's something of interest to you. Or you can hang out in residence, and start meeting some new people on your floor.
All right, I have one last question that we'll answer, and then I think James is going to help us with
Sure.
wrapping things up. Can students purchase a meal plan even if they do not live on residence? Absolutely. You can definitely purchase one even if you're living off campus. And then, James, I'll let you bring things home.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you to everyone here in the call that's been kind of supporting this event. And also thank you all for spending your evening with us, joining us and learning a little bit more about this institution that we all love and value. Hopefully, after today, you can have a little bit of a clear picture on what your potential future home might look like this coming September. If you have any further questions, as we've mentioned, our contact information is on the screen. And if you would like to revisit this recording later on, we will be posting it on our YouTube channel. That is going to be at Mac Admissions. In the coming weeks, after we kind of edit the video a little bit and make sure that there are captions on it, we will be uploading it there so you can revisit this information at any time. Thank you all again for joining us this evening, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. Bye, everyone.